But moving on to Bitcoin, what you guys are really here for crypto, right? Not the memes, not the jokes. But one thing I'd like to point out, if you haven't noticed, the totals have been pretty insane. Today, we've actually got a lot of selling, but so far, we've been on a really, really crazy run. To keep this in mind, there's only 450 Bitcoin mined per day. And there's something like, I think on average, 2,500 Bitcoin are being consumed like on average or so by these ETFs. So like 5 times what's being mined daily. So everything is getting absolutely vacuumed up into this stuff. And a majority of these, not all of them, but most of them, it's just going straight to Coinbase Prime, which is like a premier custodial stuff like for commercial. And it's just going into cold storage. So it's going to get real interesting. A lot of people are trying to overthink this stuff. But I can tell you, you can look at the charts, be confused. Buying is bullish, no matter how you spin it. And eventually sellers are going to exhaust. So anywho, Hotpin says, apparently he's lawyered up big time for this. I hope so. Why not? Like, dude, let's, I hope it makes it to court. I hope it makes it to a court where they actually get to film it. But a brief update on the ETFs, like Grayscale has even been like influencing the past few days. Hash rate continues to kind of go sideways. It's been choppy. It kind of went back up, but it's kind of dropped back down. It's kind of something I always want to watch on. It's this data is really, really slow. The way they kind of calculate the hash rates, they check it like once a day is kind of how these charts update. But I still want to keep an eye on this because if the miners just start capitulating and turning machines off and the hash rate drops, Bitcoin pretty much backs off pretty fast, and we'll follow it down. So it's kind of interesting. Another thing I saw posted was the Bitcoin miners are holdings has actually plunged 50%, reaching their lowest level in over 14 years. So maybe a lot of the ETF flow is coming directly from the miners selling and moving up to higher levels of equipment due to the strain from the halvening. As soon as you have the halvening, we went from 900 Bitcoin a day to 450. It put a really big load on the what's profitable versus what's not profitable. So a lot of machines got turned off online and they had to buy newer equipment. So is what it is, but it's something they have to do. So moving back to the actual charts, this is the same schematic we've been talking about for a long time. We've been calling for this to be a creek. Creek took a little bit longer than we expected, but it did finally jump it, and now we're moving back up. This is the local H4 resistance from the Rainbow Trends algos for the pivots, and then this middle band is the all-time high from the previous cycle. We could really make this like a different color, just so it's not as confusing. Typically, what we do with these tools is mark our support, mark our resistance, and then we kind of watch what the other pivots kind of do. But directly into the middle of this is the old all-time highs back when we were like in the 60s. It's hard to see this on H4, but it's referring back to these old prints. Those are still in play for the most, I say for the most part. They are in play, and it's been the resistance because we've been hanging here for a very, very long time. So that's the chart, and we got it. And now we're coming back up because regardless of what happens, this is still like the new all-time high order block on the H4. So this is our BTC halvening date. This is the Ethereum ETF deadline. I know this is a Bitcoin chart, but that's a really, really important date. And we got approval, which was crazy and awesome. So Ethereum ETFs are not online yet, but they will be. I've heard as soon as next month. Whether or not that happens, we'll see. The Bitcoin ETFs like went online like real fast. Within a day or two, I believe. The Ethereum ones are not like that, but they're filling out their forms and etc. But we'll focus on Bitcoin for now. This is the chart that I've been looking at. You know me, I'm not crazy about Wyckoff charts being exact. People want to argue, hey, this is a millimeter lower than this. I don't really care. I trade rainbows for F's sakes. The big thing is, though, when we trade rainbow trend stuff, like you can get an idea where these support and these resistances are, and you can peg these reactions, which are very, very important. So you can define support, and you can kind of get in the moment of knowing where like a creek is. Most people can't spot a creek until after it happens. Most people can't even spot these until after the fact. And then they'll post all over Twitter these hindsight charts of how it was Wyckoff, accumulation, or distribution, whatever, and you should feel dumb that you didn't catch it. Well, they didn't catch it either. So don't ever let those people tell you nothing. It's really, really hard to catch this in the moment. So, but the thing is you study it, you get better at it, and you can eventually start saying like, hey, I think I'm here. So if I think I'm here, I'm going to start looking for the next steps. And that's what we're looking for. This started to look like a creek to me. I posted the tweet saying, hey, everybody's calling this a top. This is a creek. This is reaccumulation. This is not a bottom to me. And lo and behold, we've jumped this creek. And since this bottom support resistance, we've actually come up 18% on Bitcoin. I believe my last entry on Bitcoin was right around here. It was in this lower band. I got it right before the creek jump, and I'm just whatever. I'm in hold mode right now. But regardless, the next thing we're looking for, this is just me doing squiggles. We want to see this. It looks a lot of times it looks differently. It's always going to be different regardless, but this sign of strength is really what we want to see. Because eventually you can see these reactions. Like these pivots, they're automated. It's a advanced algo, long story short. But you can see that they react to them. And they reject them. It has not wanted to bust into this order block. This order block is full of sellers. And they blip it and it comes down. Well, now we're coming back up. And it's got to kind of cut through this. There's a lot of sellers here that want to get out. No matter what you do. I think today... I was posting it earlier. It was the trading light data. 73,000 has got a pretty solid wall. If you guys give me a second, I can actually pull up Okotoki real quick. So shout out Okotoki because they've got a really cool order book. Yeah, here we go. And TV stream. There you go. So Okotoki here. So if we go up to... Yeah, so right around 72,000, there's on Binance, which is the order book I like to watch the most. They've got like 500 Bitcoin at 72, and then 70. That won't let me go all the way up, but Trading Light did. But anyway, you can see that there are stacked pretty heavily bids here that they're trying to get through. So this is not going to be easy. Breaking through 73, your bulls are going to have to eat through these bears and then break through. This is really, really hard. Bouncing from here to the mid-range, super easy. Moving up through this order block, and that's why it's red. You can see all these pivots stacked here. It's going to be hard to do this. But it's what we want to see. So if it happens, they're going to chug through this, eat through it. They'll probably wick above it, come back, and then do a retest, and then go. So this is kind of what we want to see. Regardless, what we want to see is candles closing above this order block. And then you want to see the ETF flows go ape. And then if we get that, we can get the launch pad up to the next leg up to wherever this goes. Frankly, we've come all the way from like $16,000, whatever it was on the FTX collapse. Shout out FTX and Alameda. Awful people. I don't know really where this goes. If we're already like 72, 100 is not that far off, in all honesty. Let me just figure out the percentages. You want to see Fidelity turn on the afterburners above this all-time high, things are going to get real stupid real fast, in my opinion. 40%, that's a big move, but it's not out of the question. Sonia, what's your pivot setting on that chart? Good question, Pins. These are defaults. I don't really mess with the pivot settings, except... Oh, it's wrong. My bad. We're good. 0 is what I normally run. The only thing you'll see me like do differently on the pivots is you'll see me draw the older pivots out further. So you'll see that these are manually drawn. It's because I can only draw these so far in TradingView before they stop. You see how these stop? If I force it to print any further, it locks up the program. It's just a limit for the drawing. So typically, like, if I'm going back and I'm like looking at like points of interest, you can see that these are the dailies. I have manually drawn the dailies further out, but that's the all-time high pivots that I really care about, and that's my block. That's my orange block, which is the center of this range here. We drop back down to 4 hour. A lot of people are missing this. A lot of people are catching the support kind of here. Albeit that deviation scared the hell out of them, but the whale showed up. See the whale print? And they're catching this top order block, but what they're missing is that all-time highs, the 2 peaks, this is that order block there, and that's really been a point of contention. Price is naturally jumping back into this order block and chopping. But now we're starting to move up. We want to see our move up and out. And shout out Damon Bradshaw. This is like one of my favorite motocross pictures. Wherever did I just move? Yeah. This is gnarly. That's like a 50-degree, 60-degree jump in Supercross indoors. And that dude's on a 125 from like 1993. So shout out Bradshaw. That's a cool bike. That's a 250. My bad. Looks like a 125 pipe, but that's 250. Purple frame, rainbow trimmed colors all around. So anyway, are you using Cage Wins ask, are you using the default Pine script to code these? Yes. You can't really modify Pine script as far as I know. But I say that all the stuff you're seeing on the screen, it's about 10,000 lines of code. So it's pushing kind of the boundaries of what I can get away with. But anyway, that's the Bitcoin chart. That's what I'm looking at. I still am going to hold to it. It's this, not a top. Frankly, we're past the halvening. People keep wanting to talk about, hey, I want my 30% pullback. I don't think you're getting your 30% pullback to the 50s, or if you want to call it from the bottom here, I don't think you're getting your black swan anymore below 40. Like, I don't think this is happening, bro. I really don't. I still see this. I still see a creek, and I see a creek jumped. Now, if we reject this, like if we come up in here and we can't get through it, we're not going to have a good day. The one thing we do want to see, though, you want to see strength increase on this move up. You want to see crazy volume show up. You don't want to see price come up, colors rotate, RSI rotate, and then this volume just fade out, fizzle. If the bulls are going to do the work all the way to get through it, they have to follow through and fully send it. If they don't fully send it, it's a really good tell that the rainbow theory stuff is telling you that like they're not committed, and it'll reject. Let me find. There's a really good example back from the day, way back. I gotta find it though. Hold on. Bear with me. Yeah, this one. This was a really awesome ranged trade. We got a great capitulation wick here, and we caught that was the bottom of like an accumulation range. And so many people got baited on this, but the dudes who trade like rainbows, they actually got ahead of it, which was so awesome. This was like the big bottom before the FTX fallout, which happened over here. But if you'll notice, the colors were strengthening and setting higher highs, and then the colors died out. So they set a higher high, and everybody set their alerts like right here. And they're like, as soon as we got wicks above here, people aped long. And I started saying, no. The volume's not there, and the colors aren't there. This is a top. It's a higher high, but it's bait. Don't fall for the bait. And we actually we were one of the group of traders that traded this in the Discord are absolute animals. But this was a really cool one too, because it was just like, hey, this is where you know, you want to trade this, go ahead. That's a higher high. People get baited, but like you turn on some colors and actually try to chase these whales, you can catch them. And also shout out the runner bot tool is just cheat mode. It was pretty cool. But anyway, the point is, this was a higher high with no volume, no follow through. The RSI got weaker, the colors got weaker, and it didn't send. It freaking retraced all the way down. And then FTX died, and that's what sent another bottom. But And that's a really cool, like, this is what you want to see, like, on capitulation wicks. That's the colors you want to see. Pushing into the reversion bands, whites, pinks, RSIs lit up, and then bounce. And that's going to give you the bottom base case of like a Wyckoff schematic. That'll be like your bottom support line, and it'll automatically draw it for you. So that's the example I would reference if you want to study it, because this is what we want to not see here. So right here, it's already blues. These are kind of whites with weaker RSIs. We need some ass here. We need the bulls to really, really show up, man, and push through. And they should, in my opinion. If you print a higher high, like just on paper, if you get above this 73.8, 73.9, you say you hit 74, 75K, I think the afterburners are going to come from BlackRock and Fidelity. I honestly do. If they don't, they don't. But like, I think that's the bullish case. I think you can get attention here and then people go crazy. The truth is just kind of wait this out. If you want to protect yourself, this is a really nice area to kind of bring up your stop losses and see if we can get through this. If we can't get through this, you know, I'm wrong at some point, and either we're going to come back down here or we're going to just keep coming up and trying to get through this damn thing until they do. That's kind of really where this goes. I don't think we're going to go 70K sideways for a year, but we've gone through worse hell, so it's all right. But that's the Bitcoin Wyckoff Rainbow Theory update with also some examples of what I'm looking at. I'm real boring right now because I'm real busy in real life with oil field and being a dad, and kids are getting on summer school or getting out for summer. But like, I'm just waiting for this to play out. I was super vigilant on this creek in this bottom, and I've just been sitting on swing positions up until now. So I'm just kind of waiting too, because I still think it's going to break through. But either way, keep your emotions in check. Try to see what the whales are doing. A lot of dudes are buying. That's all I can say. So anyway, are you using, yeah, so I believe it's static. Looking good, man. Keep it up. Thank you, Cage. Thank you, Cage. So moving on to Ethereum.